On today's episode, we're gonna get rid of that stupid egg yolk looking glass incandescent ugly bulb. And we're gonna replace it with this monster that'll actually work as a switchback bulb. All right, what's up? We've got this crazy universal bulb. We can make it fit any housing ever, and it's got a brand new module that does some stuff that I'm really excited about. Like, I think, honestly, this deserves its own video. So today, we're gonna show all the different functions that this thing can do and why I think you should put this on your Evo or your WRX or your Corvette, or there's a ton of different cars that I've done in the past, and they need these. Ooh, the Lexus IS 250 350F, that one needs it too. There's a 4-pin connector right there, and you can put dielectric grease and make it all weather tight. And then there's a 3-pin connector here, and there's all these different base adapters. Now this one, I can just plug it in and hardwire it to whatever I want. That's more my style. But a lot of people are freaked out about that kind of stuff, and they would rather have something that just plugs right into their vehicle socket, so they can use something like this 3157 bulb. And the cool thing about that is if you're plugging this into a car and you don't want to have to splice wires, your little load resistor, you might not even need to use it because this thing's so powerful. But if you do, there's a little thing called a VLR15. That's VLED's own plug and play load resistor, and it literally just plugs in and you're good to go. Plug this thing into your car, the load resistor will already be there. We've got a little piece of tape to attach that to metal, and this guy will twist into place on any car. Okay, now if I plug this thing into a 3156, it's insanely bright. And if I plug this into a 3157, it's extremely bright. And we've got both modes now. So if I needed this to be just dedicated parking light, I could do that. And in this case, it would be a dedicated DRL that turns into a parking light. But how do we turn a DRL into a parking light? With this one little wire. So check these guys out. We have two different bulbs here. One of them does something crazy. I'm really excited to show you that. But I'm gonna plug in the laid back one first. So I got my connector in there. Now I'm gonna give it 12 volts. And when I hold the bulb, you can see with it engaged, this is something that you would tap into like your low beam. So anytime that your projector comes on, you don't want this thing to be competing with it because it's so freaking bright. It will possibly be brighter than your low beams, but just shining light everywhere. So you don't want that at night. This is gonna be nighttime mode. This is only 10% of it running. But check this out. Let's just change this from where I had the little white cap. God, that's bright. I'm blind. To the black cap. Now check this out. That's silly cool. The fact that it can go from super bright daytime running light white mode to a dim amber, I think that's sick. Now that was just taking use of the parking light mode, but obviously this thing has a turn signal mode that is 1400 lumens bright. We're gonna go from dim amber to super bright 1400 lumen amber turn signal, and it shuts off the dim amber in between blinks. Check it out. Ah, it's freaking bright. Okay, I'm gonna show you exactly how we can arrange the little knobs on the outside to go into this Evo light. The nice thing about having all of these little modules just twist off super easy is you don't have to have it connected as you're making your modifications to the bulb itself. So what I wanna do is look at the bulb itself, and this one's got this weird, little Mazda rotor looking shape to it. And so I have these two little screws right across from each other. But I think in this case, I'm gonna just have to remove one of them. Now you can put these things in any different arrangement based on where the tabs are, but there are no tabs on this Evo. It's a really weird thing, the fact that it just twists into place with that weird triangle shape. I don't have a triangle shape that I can make here, at least not the way that I would want to. So I'm gonna take out one. And I've got this gasket into place too, because if you look, you've got rubber or an O-ring, or there's usually something on your factory bulb socket. And in this case, that's what we have with this. So I'm gonna put this into place, turn it until I feel like it's actually going further in, and it's not, which tells me I need to remove this collar. I can just remove the gasket really quick, remove the collar, put the gasket back on, and I'm gonna put my screw right back into place. Okay, so I had it turned in a little bit too tight. I've backed it out just a bit, and now I can feel it's locking into place. So it's staying there. I can honestly add as many of these things as I want until I feel like this thing is never ever gonna go anywhere, never gonna budge. For right now, I feel pretty good about it, at least for making this video. So let's turn it on. Now, another really cool thing is VLEDs includes these different adapters. This is the one that plugs into the bulb. This is the one that goes to a universal, just hardwired adapter. A lot of people don't use stuff like this because they're super afraid of wires, and I get it, but your boy's not too afraid of it. I'm gonna plug in the ground and the power, and we're gonna test this thing out. Wow. Now that is some kind of craziness, and check that out. Boom, there's just nothing out there that goes from crazy, crazy bright white to amber. I think that's sick, but a lot of people would definitely rather have it all white all the time. So I'm gonna take our little special mode, hook it back up to the white. So there we go. That can be hooked up to the low beams. So as soon as those things come on at night, that goes dim and you've got white all the time. And then you still have the 1400 lumen, super insane bright switchback, and it goes back to dim white after. This car does not have a parking light right here. It only has 2 wires going to it, ground and power for the turn signal. So because of the extra little wire that we have access to, we can run that to something like the parking light bulb that normally just turns on, actually this little dude right here. We could tap that wire and that will now send the power to the super bright DRL mode, which then again, if we tap a second wire, which would be the low beam, that is what's gonna give us that cool dim mode for nighttime. So you get a lot of functions out of these lights that there's no way you could get before, because you would have to run wires from inside of the light to outside of the light, and it would be a mess. If you don't believe me, I've actually done this exact video, so I will link up this video that I'm showing you right here on this one so you can check it out later. I'll put it down in the comments below as well. Let me know, would you rather have something that is super insane bright and it's easy to set up, or would you rather run lights with wires coming out that shouldn't be? And I don't know. Watch the other video first, comment back here after.